On anyways. It's a fucking window unit, so it's one of those.
No worries, we are live, and I'm actually going to start recording too, so we can have this just in case the
Cool.
YouTubes take us off.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, nobody's here right now, but hopefully people will start coming in. I'll just go ahead and shoot the shoots for anybody that may be watching this later. I am, of course, you guys know Abba Alabanza. This is my channel, and who I have with me here is a friend of mine. And actually, I've been wanting to connect with you a lot more. We've spoken on the phone like just a couple times, I think. Not very. We haven't actually spoken that much, but I know you're a kindred spirit, and every time we have spoken, it's just been pretty easy, free flow because I mean, I guess what we have in common more than anything is reggae music, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm here with Righteous Roots, and that's the name of your band. And
Yeah.
wait, 1 second. Let me try and do this formally. All right, Righteous
Appreciate
Root.
it.
I'm gonna do like a super formal introduction here, dude. Just gonna read your bio. So, Righteous Roots, and correct me if I'm wrong on something. Uh, okay. Righteous Roots. He's a producer, a songwriter, Virginia born. He's a vocalist. He's a guitarist, instrumentalist. He writes songs. He's managing a band, and it says here in your bio that your style is between island rock. It has elements of rock and reggae and dub, and a feel good music, conscious lyrics, conscious music, and is there anything else you'd like to? Yeah, can you give us just a brief kind of introduction of who
Yeah.
you are, or I guess your project, Righteous Roots, reggae music. Why have you chosen to make reggae music out of all of the genres you could have chosen?
So Righteous Roots came along 2021, started solo, then I got the band together in 2022. But as far as reggae, I feel like it is a very godly type of music historically. It's changed a lot from when it first started, but my favorite type of reggae is God-centered reggae, spiritual reggae, spiritual topics, and I think that's what drew me to it, and also the natural elements. The way it sounds is very earthy and
Mm,
natural. So that's what drew me to it. But the dub is just for studio production and stuff, using Ableton and all that stuff.
very cool. And you play guitar?
Yeah, I play guitar, and I've been doing all Righteous Roots production myself pretty much since we started. I don't play drums, but I have a little keyboard right here with drum pads, and I don't have a bass guitar, but I also play the keyboard. So it's basically using my keyboard as various different instruments, and then I record vocals, and I can record my guitar through my little interface right here, you know. And I actually just got a new amp where I can go straight out of the back of the amp into the computer. So I
Cool.
can use all the different effects that are on the amp. It's a Katana amp, so I'm really excited to do more of that.
That's
More of that
awesome.
stuff. Yeah,
And
brother.
so you're pretty. I mean, you're the leader of the Righteous Roots, but you
Yeah,
had the
it's my
band. Yeah,
project.
your project, your band, your
Yeah,
music, and I guess
yeah.
if you play guitar, I get maybe this is an insult to bass players, but if you play, I mean, guitar
No, I don't
players will
think
say,
so.
if I play guitar, you play bass, right? And
Yeah,
then you
I
may
think
not play
so.
with your index and your middle finger, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's my belief. I think that guitar players make the best bass players, and some people, like a few of my bass players, they never played guitar, so maybe they just took to
man,
bass more. But it's more of a bouncy and spaced out. You gotta leave. It's about leaving space. That's the most important thing. You can
mm-hmm.
really do too much with reggae bass. You know, it's like some guys don't know how to do reggae bass because they just try to play too many notes.
Right. Yeah, too many notes, and they're wanting to. You know what my experience is with that. uh, is they want to go into some type of bluesy thing when you're trying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They want to slide down and do all these things.
Yeah, they're all
And
jazz guys.
and you know, and then if you're used to doing that, you're playing funk and blues and stuff with the bass. Then you're going into reggae. I guess you can't. You're not really. You got to be humble, right? Because you're going to be repeating the bass line. You're
Yeah.
going to be repeating it, and you're going to be repeating it. Same with the bubble organ. You're going to be repeating and repeating, and
Yeah, that's very true.
there's a subtlety there.
You do have to be a humble person. I've had some bass players try to just go on solos like the entire song. I'm just like, this is the best reggae bass players. They kind of sit back beside the drum kit. They're not trying to, be the center of the show or whatever. They're just trying to hold down the rhythm and everything. So you do got to be humble. That's a very good point.
Yeah, especially with the reggae music, imitating the human heartbeat, and there definitely needs to be a humility there, which, in my opinion, in the modern reggae scene, there's a big lack of humility. Uh, and in my experience, maybe your experience as well, but you
Dude,
know,
definitely 100%.
because
100%.
from the outsider, it's like if you don't play reggae, but you know about it and you play and you think you play jazz and you play all these you know you can play everything. You're like, oh yeah, reggae's simple, it's gonna be super
Yeah.
simple, and you join, and then you're not feeling it, and you can tell they haven't sat with it long enough you know
Yeah, and like just a lot of musicians, they learn the riffs of these popular famous songs and they don't learn how to just skank and just vibe and just do their own thing, like not they get a metronome and they start the metronome and they play along to the tab and everything. And so it's just, yeah, that's another reason I like reggae so much, is the whole jamming aspect of it. Like I never like playing the same song the same way twice when I'm performing live.
hmm
You're never going to hear the same solo twice, all that stuff.
and you're a
You know?
vocalist too.
Yeah, man. I'm a vocalist. I just started a new project too, called Heritage Point, but it's like more of a singer-songwriter vibes. But yeah, I'm a vocalist and I do all the vocals for Righteous Roots. We actually got our first two features for Righteous Roots within the last year. So some of the last songs we dropped each have a feature on them. So a different vocalist besides myself.
Very cool. And this,
And
what
I
did
would
you?
love to get you on one as well.
Yes, let's do it.
You know.
You said you have a little solo project going on right now, singer songwriter Heritage.
Yeah, Heritage Point. It's just I might play with a band eventually, but it's more like laid back acoustic. Not really a skanking vibe, more like a strumming. Almost country folk, singer songwriter. I call it coastal soul. That's what I'm calling it, coastal soul. And I got one song out called Virginia Road. Heritage Point is just the name of the project, but it's like a location on the Chesapeake Bay that I grew up going to. It's like a little peninsula on the bay. So that's why I called it that. But that's just kind of like the artist in me. I love reggae. Reggae is always like my number one, and I'm definitely not stopping Righteous Roots. I'm just kind of getting all my creative juices out of me, in like different directions and trying to feel inspired and stuff. Like this reggae scene, it's taking a toll on me, dude, because I want to just make music and focus on the music and focus on making music and recording and writing meaningful songs. But then you deal with so much bullshit from these industry people over and over and over again, bullshit from these like small town music scenes, and it just makes you like fucking, sorry about that, makes you feel kind of burnt out. Not trying to cuss, but
hmm
makes you feel a little burnt out, and dealing with everyone's bullshit. So I just kind of like, you know,
Yeah, I hear you, and I'd like to dive into that some because, I mean, I had my five-piece band in Mexico, the past 4 years. I'm not there anymore, and now I got the little kids and the family, and I'm trying to, grow it online.
Yeah.
And I, of course, encounter a lot of that BS that you're talking about on in the online sphere, reggae community and things. And I want to kind of
Yeah.
delve into that with you also because, yeah, I mean, I put the title, can white people play reggae, or are white people allowed to play reggae music? Uh, and I mean, we don't have to go into race necessarily,
Just us, just
uh,
are we as white people specifically? Everyone else can play it. It's the question is if we can also join in on the fun.
yeah. And actually, before we touch on that, yeah, before we touch on that, why has okay? This is my take, and I'm just gonna assume that you agree with it. Why has the modern reggae scene become so fake and so gay? What, dude? What happened, man? Because I mean, look, your name is Righteous Roots,
Yeah.
right? Mine is Abba Alabanza, which is praise the Father.
Yeah,
There's ethics behind this, and you're saying
Yeah.
there's a lot of BS in the scene. A lot of anti-white stuff, maybe a lot of homosexual stuff, pro-abortion, you know,
Yes.
uh,
Yeah.
all of these
Yeah.
things, and
I've seen it
it's
all, man.
totally. It's just very contradictory to what reggae should be about, which is truth.
Yeah.
So and righteousness has to be grounded in truth. So
Yeah.
we're not going to find truth in gay stuff, or
Yeah.
or child sacrifice,
Yeah.
which is abortion. So,
Yeah.
and are you
Yeah.
finding a lot of this too? Are you finding that the reggae scene in general has become pretty gay?
Yeah. The thing that bothers me the most is like, yeah, people do shows where they're doing abortion fundraisers and stuff, and they'll get like, oh, get the reggae band, get the folk, get the bluegrass band, and we're all going to get together and sing for the right for slaughtering babies from inside the womb. And it's like, what what do y'all do? Like, do y'all even understand what this genre is even about? But also, just in general, it's so corny and so selfish and self-serving. And my biggest thing with the reggae scene is like, why can't y'all speak up on things? You know what I mean? And they can be kind of vague, like you can say peace, love, and unity, and this and that, but you can't talk about what's going on in the Middle East with the Gaza Holocaust and everything, and different things like that. And I think it also goes back to everything is getting more fake and gay. So
Mm-hmm.
reggae is just the whole world is just getting more fake and gay, and it's people like you and me that are just kind of trying to bring some normalcy back into the space. And I've just stated my opinions, on like how I feel about things, and they've completely tried to blackball me from more than one local scene, several local scenes. I'll say, I believe marriage is between a man and a woman. I believe that parents deserve a father and a mother. I believe that, abortion is murder, and these are things that the reggae legends also believe. But for some reason, these really far left extremists is what I consider them. They consider themselves the arbiters of reggae, but they don't even understand the foundations of the genre, like at all. So, and it's kind of crazy to me.
It's so obscene and so absurd. And the thing, in my experience, it's really the white millennial Western male that that plays reggae music, that has the reggae band, that does the white boy reggae.
Yeah,
They're really, they think that they're the arbiters of what reggae should be about. They're licking Jamaican boots, and at the same
yeah,
time, they're super pro gay. They're super pro child sacrifice and all these things, and which is equivalent to anti truth. So
that's right.
it's just few and far between. Uh, you know, the reggae artists that I come across that are even aware of this, in any way, or are confident enough to speak it out, because I do know quite a few people that are just silent about it because they've made a business around their band and things, and they basically have been silenced. But I mean, what are we gonna? I mean, you chant, you sing reggae, you write reggae songs. I mean, I do the same. So it's also kind of a different story for somebody who's writing the songs. I mean, because you're carrying a message with it,
Yeah,
right?
a
And
very
reggae
important
music has
message.
always been very, I mean, it's always been very political, also, right? So,
Yeah, it has.
so would you agree that reggae music needs to be updated?
I would say yes, dude. And like I can't stand the American reggae now. There's very very little of it that I went to Reggae Rise up in Florida, and I saw about 10 different bands, and one of the guys was like, their song was like, I just wanna F tonight. Love is overrated. I just wanna F tonight. And I was like, it was a black dude, but he was trying to sound like a punk rock white guy. And me and my lady were like, we're out of here. Like this is just it's just bad. Like it's just genuinely not good. It's degenerate. It's not regenerative. It's degenerative. It's gonna downgrade your life if you. Oh, I just want to F tonight. Love is overrated. Who wants to get married? Who wants to have kids? Let's just have abortions and be as promiscuous as we want and get a bunch of STDs and all this other stuff. And it's just like, why can't we talk about genocide? Why can't we talk about abortion? I mean, Black Uhuru or whatever, they have a song called Abortion, Murder, She Wrote, Murder, She Wrote, Murder, She Wrote. That song's about abortion. And just, Steel Pulse has songs about it as well. And it's just kind of like, dude, I think I told you about the venue I was playing at that they turned it into gay reggae Sunday. And then I canceled all my gigs at that venue because they were acting like I was the ignorant one. I'm like, dude, you don't even understand by calling it REGGAY Sunday. You're being extremely like disrespectful to the culture. Like you don't even, that's not even processing in your mind that you're being disrespectful. And they think, oh, it's just a play on words. It's just harmless. And it's like, no, reggae is not about sodomy. I told them, the homosexuals don't have to take everything away from us. Not everything has to be turned into a sodomy party celebration. You know what I mean? And like, y'all grown, y'all can do what you want. I think it's gross. I don't hate you. That's the thing. They think if you think it's gross that you are afraid or you hate them. It's like, no, I don't hate you. I'm not
Right.
afraid of you.
Yeah.
I love you. I actually love you. And that's why I'm trying to be truthful
Mm-hmm.
with you because I
Mm-hmm.
love you. And I don't want you to get AIDS. And I don't want you to, all these other problems that come along with that lifestyle.
My 2-year-old knows that poop is gross. You know.
Yeah. And yeah, it's like you shouldn't do that with women either. It's just not sanitary.
Yeah, it's just it's it's dehumanizing. It's against it's clearly against the design, and
Yeah.
ideally, sex is going to be done in a marital setting, of course, between man and woman. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's just so inverted now. I came out
Yeah.
with this song, Gay Propaganda, protect the women and children from gay propaganda.
Very catchy
And
song, by the way.
thank
Very
you.
catchy.
Yeah,
Everyone loves that song.
and well, a lot of people really hate me for making that song also.
They because it's stuck in their head, dude. 'Cause they can't stop. They can't stop. It's like one of those when you have a day where you can't get the song out of your head. That's why they're like, oh fuck this guy. I want to keep being gay. Fuck this guy. Like, I don't
Yeah,
want to feel
or
convicted.
but a lot of the comments I get on that are white people saying, "This guy completely missed the purpose of reggae." Oh, look, it's this
Yeah,
guy,
yeah,
and
yeah.
meaning reggae should be gay is what they're basically
Yeah,
saying, right?
reggae should
Reggae should
endorse
be
gay.
pro-gay. Yep.
It should endorse abortion. It should endorse wide open borders. Fuck borders. It should endorse all the. They've turned reggae into like a weird communist thing, and I don't really. understand it. You know, I mean, a lot of Jamaicans are Christian. You know, Haile Selassie was Christian. You point that out all the time, and you know, they were against this stuff. They were against abortion. They were against the LGBT stuff, and this the biggest thing is like, dude, I've had people who are big names in the reggae scene, like Kyle Smith's bass player was asking me to send him pictures of my butthole. Like he was trying to be like funny, I guess. But I'm like the fact, and then he sent me a picture of Satan, right? Sent me a picture of Satan saying, "Come join us, come join the dark side," or whatever. It's like, and these are the people that you know, Dale in the Z Dubs is pulling his pants down on Instagram and pretending to blow off Kyle Smith on Instagram, and this is the stuff they put on the internet for all their fans to see, and that's this. It's like for shock value. Oh, I'm pretending to give him a blowjob, and
Yeah, and
I'm gonna pull my
these
pants
guys are
down.
now in their 30s, and
Yeah, yeah, I
they're
know.
still, you know, they're doing the gay jokes and
No
things.
children. Yeah, they don't have kids. They're just
Well, look,
yeah,
these people like they're kind of like it's like Reddit reggae. I don't know what
yeah,
that means,
dude.
but
I had
like
to get off Reddit, man.
Reddit people love to talk about buttholes and
It's the
anuses. Like
gayest
they're all
app, dude.
about anuses, and that's what
There's
they even their like comedy and stuff is all circled around anuses, and all of this is socially orchestrated. It's
it
all
is. It
they're
is.
being run, right?
Yeah.
They're being run like little robots. And the thing
Yeah.
is, you and I are, you know, white, I'd say, and we're talking about this, and that makes them even more pissed off that we're white and talking about how reggae should not be, you know, pro child sacrifice, abortion, or pro sodomy, you know, all the gay stuff.
Yeah, because
And
Steel
then
Pulse can get away with it.
their comeback is, oh, you know, what do you? Oh, leave it to a white guy to speak for the Jamaican. What does that mean? You're saying that black Jamaicans should be pro sodomy and pro like what are you? You know, like that's
Yeah, I'm sure they'd
actually,
agree with that.
you know.
I'm sure they go right along with that, you know. They'd want us to be, oh yeah, Jamaican the Jamaicans are the gayest ones. They'd love that. They definitely would have no problem with that. But it's funny that you say like white guys, because every time I look, like we say things are everything's getting more fake and gay. Like in the Bible, when Joshua blew the trumpets to knock down the walls, that was the vibrations of the sound of the music coming from Joshua and the Israelite army, and they broke down the walls of Jericho. And that's the same thing that we're doing here. We're breaking down walls with vibrations, and our not just through the music. What we're doing now is also vibrations, and we're breaking down the walls. But every time the Israelites started to turn against God, their countries got overtaken by hordes of orcs and all these different Babylonian and Talmudic and just satanic cultures. And we know it's a spiritual battle, though, right? You and I both understand it's a spiritual battle. It's trying to get, you know, and we're white guys. We're white guys. I understand you could go all the way to the top and say, oh, this is the ethnic group that's running everything, but above the ethnic group that's running everything is Satan. And Satan has an agenda. We turned against God. Us white people in America, we turned against God, and we're watching that unfold right now. We endorsed abortion. We accepted the gay stuff. We
Yeah.
accepted turning kids and mutilating the children's genitals so that the parents can get more attention or get on a TV show. And we've accepted all this, and we let other countries completely take over our entire government, even, you know, and we can get more on that. But
Well,
it's biblical, really. It's biblical. Every time the Israelites didn't obey God, they got overran and displaced, and they had to migrate.
yeah, this is all absolutely socially orchestrated, and we're trying to avoid to say the J word here. I mean, we've said
The
pretty
Who's from
much, we've
Whoville.
said almost all the other words except for the J word. I probably won't. Yeah. Anyways, what I was okay. So going back, I asked you, you know, do you also believe, implying that I believe, that reggae should be upgraded? And then we started talking about how the reggae movement right now is like pro sodomy and pro child sacrifice and feminist and all these degenerate
Upside
worldviews.
down, topsy
Uh,
turvy, upside down, shaking and stirred.
like during the times of Bob Marley, like the 70s, like
Yeah,
there wasn't the gay marriage. People weren't running around like trying to fight for gay rights and things like this. So this is why I'm like, no, we need to update because we're like living in some pastime where, sure, I'm not denying that there was some more oppression in the past towards blacks. There's clearly
definitely
been
was. Yeah,
this like over fantasizing about black oppression and black nationalism through what I call Marcus Garvey syndrome. But
yeah, yeah.
but when I'm saying
Exactly.
update, like look around. Okay, that during that time with the greats, the reggae greats, it's like we don't need to be talking about something that's not happening right now. Like we're trying to move this reggae thing forward. We're not like trying to be, like just repeating these past things that aren't even happening. And now more
Yeah,
information's coming out that's like, were Marcus Garvey and was he really in alignment with Haile Selassie? And there's a lot of
yeah. I
things that.
sent you that. You've seen that article too. You'd already seen it, but that article that where they were saying, Marcus Garvey didn't even like Selassie. He was calling him a slave master, and he was calling him a tyrant, and he saying that he more aligned with being Caucasian. He considered
Mhm.
himself to be more Caucasian than
Yeah.
sub-Saharan, and he was oppressing the darker black people that were in Ethiopia and all this other stuff, and you realize that the whole, I mean, I've never. I
This is gonna
identified as
be too high
Roscoe
tier
as a
for
high
the.
schooler,
Sorry
you
to
know.
interrupt. This is gonna be too high tier for the audience that I'm wanting to reach out to, which is just kind of the normie person that
Yeah,
likes reggae music. That's like, what's going on? I thought
yeah,
reggae was supposed to be conscious and
yeah,
like like based, not like fake and gay and feminist and all this degenerate stuff. It's like this is why people don't even like care about reggae anymore. At
yeah.
least people that I want to surround myself with in my family and things like people that have the idea of reggae as just like some degenerate like lost
Smoke
cause.
weed.
Yeah, just
They're
some
like just
degenerate
smoke
lost
weed
cause.
and
Mm-hmm.
basically they combine elements of like this is like a typical white boy reggae song. Going to the beach with my friends, gonna smoke weed and drink beer, and then it's gonna be really sunny outside and we're gonna surf on the surfboard. And it's like that's like what it is now. And
Oh yeah.
I've never
Notice
none of
me and
these
how,
bands have
dude.
ever tried.
Notice me and how open-minded I am. What
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
like? What you don't?
Open
You're not.
minded,
You don't
open
like.
butthole.
You don't like the gays? Like are you Nazi? You know.
Yeah,
Uh.
yeah, yeah. But
So.
let me tell you a funny story about I saw this band playing Midnight Raver by Bob Marley, and they posted it on Facebook, right? And it was all black reggae band. And the song goes, "Can't tell the woman from the man. No, you can't, because they're dressed in the same pollution." And so they'd been on a whole Facebook paragraph about how they still play this song to honor Bob Marley, but it was a different time, and we're not homophobic and this and that. And I'm just like, dude, y'all are so gay, dude. You don't need to explain yourself. It's a great song. Bob Marley was a conscious person. He obviously noticed things even back then. And I just thought that was that came to mind when you were saying that, and I was like, man, I can't believe these black guys are like apologizing for playing a Marley song, or
Cucking,
like
cucking, cucking
it's
so
they're
hard.
not really apologizing. They're posting it because they want people to see it,
Yeah, it's such a virtue
but then they're
signaling
like,
thing. Yeah.
yeah,
It's not even
it's like a
real.
grift.
Yeah,
It's
it's
weird,
it's
dude.
a lazy, sloppy grift that we're not convinced by whatever. But I guess that normie norm, reggae guy is gonna be like, oh, like pushing that forward, and maybe because they're trying to get laid or something. I mean, it's a lot of that is just appealing to the woman. Appealing to the
That's the
the
number one,
modern woman.
dude.
Yeah.
That's the number one. And I think a lot of these guys are beta males, dude. They like my woman loves me because she says, like you're a real dude. Like you actually have high testosterone. You're not fake. You're just authentic. And none of these dudes have tried to help me. None of these names that are bigger up in the industry, none of them have tried to help me. And I think it's because I make I've started trying to make music that is more purposeful, not just la di da di da, me nonsense. You know what I mean? And they don't. they don't want to be conscious. They want to be asleep and they want to be fake and gay. And that's what's gotten them to the point they're at, is by being fake and gay, because the people at the very top are the fakest and the gayest. So they have to be
perpetuating all the gay
subservient.
propaganda and things. The thing is, like, during, Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, these big reggae stars, like, all the gay propaganda just wasn't there. Like I said, like, they weren't marrying to celebrating sodomy, putting it on a pedestal and all these things. Like, there was still like
Yeah.
some social, like a healthy amount of like shaming towards,
Yeah, and
that
rejection.
that side of degeneracy. It's a political thing. We care about the communities we live in. We don't want to raise our children in a nation where they are putting sodomy on a pedestal and celebrating it publicly, putting it in the libraries, And would Bob Marley, would Peter Tosh have written songs about this if that was happening? Probably.
I mean, that's what
It's
that
a
song was
really
about. I
big
mean,
deal. Yeah, but if it was at the level it is
yeah,
now,
yeah.
because people will come, Bob Marley actually, maybe he wasn't, pro gay, but he never said anything about it. I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And in the song, he said something about it. They're dressed in the same pollution. So he's calling it pollution. They're dressed in the same, they might be man dressing like a woman or woman dressing like a man, but it's the same pollution. It's the same virus of the mind, and they're midnight ravers. And that's why he said midnight ravers. Now they're out in broad day. Because back then in the 70s, they were midnight ravers. Now they're broad day, sucking each other off in the parades in front of the young kids. And dude, it's
fire
it's
burn,
these
dude.
people. Yeah, these people need to be locked up. They need to be locked up, dude, with the assless chaps.
I need like fire, like crackle sound over here too. I was gonna say gunshots, but that's too far.
You
Nah.
heard Rastaman not apologize to nobody, boy. Freaking Sizzla, I think it is. I love that freaking song, dude.
Sizzla,
He's like,
Capleton.
then he's like, them fee apologize to Jah.
Yeah.
They need to apologize to God. We don't need to apologize to you. You need to apologize to God.
And that's actually the majority of the millennial white, maybe Gen Z cuff or whatever, reggae artist, singer of the Western world. Europe is even more gay, and fake than America in my experience. Just looking, objective, through the lens of words, who's the reggae producer, who's the artist, who's the musician, who are the bands, and all this stuff. The majority are. Wait, what did you say the lyrics were again?
The Sizzla song.
Yeah,
It was like Rasta man,
no
not
apologize. Yeah,
apologize.
right.
It's called not NAH, not apologize
and
to
what they're
nobody,
doing,
boy.
and what
If
the
it is King
majority is
Selassie.
doing is apologizing to them in the sense of just,
Sucking
bending
up to
down.
them.
Yeah.
Bending their knee, and that's the one thing I've been unwilling to do. And some would say it's hurt me, but I honestly don't care to play back in my home city, Richmond, Virginia, that much because of how far it's sunk. And you say, London and all these different places are more further along in their destruction, and it's true because, like I said earlier, when they sin against God, they let this sin into their nation, and then they get overrun by these cultures that are more. They want to be so accepting to their own demise, and now America's it was 90% white Anglo-Saxon or whatever in the 70s or 80s. Now it's like under 50%, and it's the most gay it's ever been. And I think about moving to Russia and shit, because he's Orthodox over there, and he's saying we want Christian families to move here, and he's not a PDF file. He's not an Epstein guy, and so that's another thing I've been thinking about. Probably won't move to Russia, but it's just so it's gonna get hopefully if we have anything to do with it, we can stop that from happening, because America does not look like it should. There's a lot of money and resources that need to go back into America that we're just shipping trillions overseas for these other countries and their greed and genocidal ambitions and whatnot. We need to invest in our own youth here in America.
Right. Yeah. That's funny you say that about Russia too, because before we moved to the United States last year, we were also considering Russia and looking at how that could be a possibility. And I've also looked into Eastern Europe and Georgia, these places where there's still majority Orthodox and just a grace filled nation that
Yeah.
isn't pushing all of this gay stuff. And I know I keep talking about the gay stuff, and as you know, uh, talking about it, the backlash that you get is, "Oh, you're clearly a closeted homosexual talking about the gay. Why do you talk about it?" Well, I'm raising children in a nation where sodomy is put on a pedestal and celebrated, literally celebrated. They say, that they can get married and stuff like this, right? And all the gay propaganda in the libraries and things. There's been 2 books that have come into my household, children's books that have had gay propaganda in them. A goose that wears, cross-dressing goose. The little cartoon that has 2 mommies and
Man, the
things like
stuff you
this.
see at the public school board meetings and this and that, where you see the angry parents come up and they're saying, I found this, my son brought this book home from school and it's teaching him how to give a BJ to another dude and this and all this other stuff. And then you got the high school girl comes up and says she was tricked into changing in the locker room in front of a dude who's calling himself a girl or whatever. And this shit is real, dude. It's crazy to me. And I wouldn't want my children or, my nieces and nephews to, and that's why it bothers me so much, is knowing that like the younger generations of my family, extended family, they're going to get hit even harder than I got hit. You know what I mean? And so homeschool all the way, man. Can't let these perverts and these Zionist perverts get their hands on them and get inside their run game on their brain, really. And I hate to see it, dude. I hate when I see parents with a transgender child. It makes me really, really sad. You know what I mean? People might say, "Oh, you're hateful. Oh, you're in the closet." And then we talked about this. When they say you're in the closet or they call you gay, it's like, well, you're meaning this as an insult. They're meaning it as an insult. So like you're a gay person.
I
gay
just got a
person.
comment on one of my posts. Well, you're clearly a closeted homosexual, and in parentheses, but
Yeah.
that's okay. They always have to clarify.
I think they're just not that smart, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're just not. They don't know how to properly roast somebody because they're just not that intelligent. I feel like.
Yeah, that's part of it. I'm not even that intelligent. I know that poop is disgusting. My 2-year-old knows poop is disgusting.
Yeah, yeah. We're not dogs. We don't eat shit like dogs. We don't need to. We don't need to.
Yeah, and the reason that I'm bringing this up so much is because this is what we're dealing with at ground level. The entire movement of modern reggae in the West has become so fake and so gay, and we're just tired of it. I know that a lot of people are going to be edified by seeing this video of us talking about it, because a lot of people are. I know for a fact that a lot of people are thinking what we're saying, but they're not going to say it out loud.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, definitely.
They're thinking what we're saying, man. But they're not going to say it out loud.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, like, you're a chanter. Like, we chant reggae music. We sing, we write the words, we carry the message. So pretty much up to us to bring the whole thing forward. I mean, this is where the message is coming from. Oh no, you have to take heed to the greats. You have to talk about black oppression. It's like, like there's literally gay propaganda coming into my household, and I'm not allowed to talk to it about it because it's homophobic or whatever. It's like, and the thing is, even if it is the Jays, even if it's the Jays at the top, what are we dealing with?
The Yahoos.
Yeah, the Yahoo. What are we dealing with?
Spiritual wickedness.
What are we dealing with at ground level? it's this
Yeah, it's
worldview. It's this
spiritual
very
wickedness.
degenerate, yeah, this degenerate
Yeah, because Trump
worldview.
is a goy, you know. Donald Trump is a goy. All these people are goys. Hegseth is a goy. All these goys are, you know, these Patels. They're all degenerate. You know, it's a spiritual thing. And you're right. What can we do? Because it starts from the ground up. You know what I mean? Nothing gets built from the top down. So it always starts from the ground up. And you're exactly right about that. You're
Yeah,
exactly right.
it's
And
the
it's
worldview
not,
that
it's, you
we're.
know, there's good people that are, there's good, you know, who's from Whoville. They're perfectly fine people. Not every one of them is a supremacist or a genocidal or a PDF, you know, just
Mm-hmm,
because that's part of their religion,
mm-hmm.
the Talmud or whatever. That
Right.
doesn't mean that all the Yahoos are like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've had 4 or 5 different Who's from Whoville in my band, and I love them to death, dude. I paid them money, and they're great people. Do I think some of them might be a little misguided in their beliefs as far as Zionism and the communist type stuff? Maybe, yeah, but they're good to me, and I think they mean well. But you know, it is a spiritual thing at the end of the day, like you said, and it's something's got to change, man. And someone has to take the arrows. If we have to take the arrows, if I'm not going to get invited to whatever local festival is going on because you don't like what my beliefs are, and I don't even consider them beliefs, it's just the truth. It's like,
Yeah.
how can you believe something that's true? To
If it
believe something, you know,
if it
you
takes
have
a
to.
white guy to say it, so be it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was supposed to take a white guy to say it, you know, because the Steel Pulse was speaking out against abortion, legal murder. They call it abortion. Um, you know, in Wild Goose Chase, they're talking about test tube babies and mass producing test tube babies and in vitro. And I think what it's coming down to with all the birth control and the abortion is that they want to control who reproduces. That's why you have all this IVF everywhere, and they want to control who has the ability to reproduce. So they put all these young women on birth control that completely destroys their bodies and their
Fries their
mind.
brain.
Yeah,
Absolutely fries
yeah,
them.
so
Their
I'm really
messes up their
glad that my lady
hormones
got off that
terribly.
stuff. It's really to mess them up, and all the vaccines and everything just to make you infertile, and that's then they sell you on the IVF, and you got a bunch of test tube babies, and it's like, you know. And I saw, you know, a lesbian couple the other day with a young baby, and I was just, man, like I was sad, you know what I mean? More sad than anything. You know, you feel kind of like upset and angry about it, but the sadness, it's very sad to see. You know, every child deserves a father, and especially a baby boy like that needs a father. And you can try to, one of the lesbians can try to play the role of the man, which they always do, and
They
one of them tries
use
to be the woman.
bananas and pickles and
Yeah, that African
cucumbers, and
pastor.
all of their
Have you seen that?
vibrators are in the shape of a penis. I mean, it's
Africans are not about that, dude. Like Africans are so against homosexuality, and that's why I find it funny. Like they can say all this stuff. Steel Pulse can say it. Black Uhuru can have a song about abortion. They can talk about it all day long. They can talk about we don't like abortion, we don't like homosexuality. But the second a white person says it, better yet, a white person with dreadlocks.
oh
Oh man, dude, these people are fucking having an aneurysm. They can't
yeah.
handle it.
Yeah, there's just like a brain fart. It's like like what you know, they can't like it doesn't like
They're so programmed to hate
that
whites.
can't exist. Yeah. Yeah, and the
They
reason
just
I keep
have
trying
to.
to tie this into like I mean, reggae music is so powerful. It's to imitate the heartbeat, which we can all relate to. It doesn't matter what color your skin is or anything. Like we can all relate to the human heartbeat. We're susceptible to it. It is a propaganda machine, and we can use it for virtuous propaganda. If we're carrying the message and things. So we've been inundated with gay propaganda, with lies, and all these things. And reggae community worldwide, not only are they silent about it, but they're actively perpetuating the sodomite behavior, the sodomite
Yeah,
propaganda, all this stuff. The
yeah, they
child
are, man.
sacrifice propaganda. They're not only they're not just they're not even silent about it. They're perpetuating it, and they're helping push it forward. The thing is, reggae music is a rebel music.
Yeah,
and the norm is pro sodomy. The norm is, pro child sacrifice and
Yeah.
feminist and
We're the
degenerate.
resistance now. We get to be the resistance now.
And I think I can't really speak for the punk scene, but I think it's pretty much the same story. The punk bands have become very fake, very
Yeah, they're
gay,
like
very pro.
they're always like I heard saw something recently called skinheads against racial prejudice, and they call themselves sharps. And I'm like, they always say they're gonna punch Nazis. Like, we're gonna punch Nazis. If you Nazi punks, fuck off. We're gonna punch Nazis and da da da. But I'm pretty sure when punk started out, it was very like the opposite of that, and they'll claim it wasn't. Punk was always gay. Punk was always da 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 feminist and gay. I don't think so. I think punk started out as extremely based
Yeah,
and
you know how I can kind of relate now talking about this because that the outsider looking at me, a white guy with dreads, talking about no, we don't want anything to do with all the gay stuff and the child sacrifice and things. Like that's like a brain fart for them. Like, but for me, it's also like a brain fart to see some like dude with a shaved head with like hardcore tattoos and like big
yeah,
muscles and like chains and the spike collar or whatever, and they're like
yeah,
super pro sodomy and stuff. It's like
like you
that to
said,
me is like whoa.
they're just
What's
trying to
what's
get they're trying to get laid, like you said. They're just
yeah
trying to get laid.
yeah
And
that
like
is
I've dealt with people like that in Richmond, Virginia. It's really bad like that. It's in Wilmington too, where I was in Wilmington, North Carolina for a few years. Um, but I think it comes down to them. They want female validation, and really, it should be the opposite. Females should want male validation. It shouldn't be males desperately seeking female validation for just little crumbs of the vajayjay, like just trying to like just get anything they can get. And it's sad, and they wear all the stupid gay patches, and they get their vests, and they wear their spiked boots, and they get their mohawk, and it's just like, I'm just like, dude, y'all are fucking like, y'all are kind of gay. Like, y'all are kind of like a bird that like flaps his wings to attract his mate or whatever, you know what I mean? A little, just kind of flamboyant, and
and
just
then
trying
like
to be as weird looking as they can get on purpose.
yeah,
And the
and
women
then
do
the
it too.
music, like hardcore kind of like rock, like metal or whatever, and they're like pro gay. It's like that's just such a
Yeah, they're
weird
wearing the
thing.
dresses on stage. The Kurt Cobain
Uh-huh.
wearing the dress. I've
Yeah.
seen I've seen that in person. There's a spot called Reggie's in Wilmington. It's a real punk rock place, but they would. I'm sure a lot of them would call me like a Nazi or this and that, and I don't even give a fuck, dude. I'm literally just a normal white guy that wants to raise a family and raise my family in peace. I believe marriage is between a man and a woman, and I'm against abortion. I don't hate anybody, but you're so hateful, and why are you so hateful, and what's wrong with free love? That's what they say. What's wrong with free love? It's like, dude, you're free to do butthole stuff all you want, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not
well,
gonna come
even
arrest
that
you.
though, that's not a thing because there's pedos and everything too. That's not free love. I mean,
Yeah,
there's also people that
yeah, it's
have
not.
sex with horses, and like that shouldn't be a thing either. Or there's also
Yeah,
incestual relationships, and is that free love? I mean, it's all, it's yeah.
it's like
People can love whoever they want. No, they can't. Especially
yeah,
if I'm
yeah.
raising
You
children
can't
in
love
this
your
nation.
dog. You
Yeah,
can't love
we
you
have some
can't do
rules.
certain things. You have to, yeah, you have to have boundaries. I mean, because then society starts. I told them when I canceled out this venue that did the Reggay Sunday. They did it during Pride Month, which is just June. You know what I mean? It's also men's. Get this, Pride Month is also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. What are the odds of that? So whenever Pride Month comes around, I'm like, happy Men's Mental Health Awareness, because these people are not aware that they have horrible mental health. I feel like, or maybe they do. A lot of them are aware. A lot of them are all on the antidepressants and the psychiatric, antipsychotics, and all these different 5 different pills in the morning, and then they put a dress on and do their lipstick, and they walk out the door, and they're like, everybody has to accept this. I'm not the mentally ill one, even though I'm hopped up on all these pharmaceutical drugs, and I know I have depression, and I know there's something wrong, and I know it stems from maybe they got molested as a kid, or maybe they had a bad experience with the opposite gender. but there's only two genders. You're either a man or a woman. There's nothing else. There's some hormone deficiencies with the intersex stuff, but they still either have a dick or a vagina. They don't, you know what I mean? They're not, they're still man and woman. So it's kind of, it's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy, and it's sad. And but yeah, punk has gone that way too, just like reggae. It's all kind of, everything is more fake and gay, and they like to project and say, "Well, you hate us." It's like, no, y'all hate us. You hate the straight white, just average everyday person trying to start a family. You hate us to your core. Seeing a white family, a straight white family, where the woman is submissive to her husband and listens to her husband and obeys her husband, and the kids listen to the woman, you know what I mean? And the dog listens to the kids. This angers them. If they see that in public, they get angry. I genuinely feel that way, especially if they're not white as well. If they're a different race, they get even more angry at seeing it if they're part of that whole communist thing, the gay abortion and open borders. And I had one guy in a reggae band. I think he's in a reggae band. His name's Mike Dev on Facebook, but he hit me up and was like, I posted a meme about how Trump was like, sorry, we let all these illegal immigrants, like it was like, sorry, your daughter got raped by like a pack of illegal immigrants, but we need slave labor. Or something like that. And it was a joke. And I don't like Donald Trump. I do not like Donald Trump. This guy got so offended. You don't know all the hard work these immigrants do. It's just a misdemeanor. And it's just a misdemeanor. And if you say you've never done a misdemeanor, and he was like, I'm going to spread this all around the reggae scene and I'm going to tell everybody. And I was like, dude, I don't care at all, dude. Please do. Please spread this all around, because I don't think you even understand why you're offended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want drugs and weapons and child trafficking coming across the border. I just don't. I don't want children trafficked across the border. And so I think they should all go. I think every single illegal person should go, whether they committed a crime or not. We don't know. We don't know who these people are. They just pop up. You know what I mean? And it's like, in a functioning society, Russia wouldn't play that stuff. Russia would not play that stuff. There's probably no illegal immigrants in Russia, you know?
Yeah, no, I hear you loud and clear, and it's interesting, bringing it back to the reggae, because, that song, legalize, legalize it, Peter, there's, it's always like the image of reggae, from, looking towards the past is like, government corruption, but at the same time, Rastafari, who is Haile Selassie, there's also a theme of righteous authority, ethics, morality. So my thing right now with the reggae is like, criminalize it. Like, criminalize the gay stuff, criminalize, the pedos, the child sacrifice, all this, like, criminalize it, don't celebrate it. So, I mean, in bringing that into reggae, in calling for, like, reggae music, calling to the politicians to act, to create policies that are righteous, criminalize the gay marriage. Like, no, we should not be celebrating that. We should be offering a healthy amount of shame to that. There should be a social shame towards butthole play and all that with men and things, and there should be, we're speaking towards a worldview. So, and we're wanting to perpetuate a healthy, ideally Christian worldview. We want our politicians to be Christian. We want the politicians to be, any politician is going to be making policies. We want the policies that they're making to be according to their worldview. That's going to happen anyways. Any politician is going to make a policy according to their worldview. So, of course, we want the politician to be Christian so that they make Christian policies, right? And criminalize it. Criminalize all the gay stuff, and celebrate righteousness. I mean, righteous roots. Like, celebrate what is good, and you get criminalize it in a way like, don't be public about that. We don't want any gay propaganda in the libraries. We don't want it in the school systems. We don't want it in the media. We don't want it in video games. We don't want it anywhere. We don't want it exposed to anybody. It should be it should be taught socially that this is a shameful act.
Yeah.
And so naturally it is shameful. This is why the gays fake the voice. This is why they're so
Yeah.
insecure. They act like children. They don't grow up. They act, they're
Very
very
gossipy and
gossipy, immature. They're
you
very,
know,
very immature, and it's
yeah.
because they're hiding behind. They're ashamed. They're ashamed. They're repeating these very shameful acts, and
Yeah.
so they're living it with this shame, and it makes them very insecure. We wouldn't want anybody to live that way. So I mean, the
Yeah.
government could be offering. All right, the government now says, for example, oh, we were really messed up by letting these men say that they're married and stuff like this, and we were really messed up by allowing all this gay propaganda to be taught to children in Hollywood and the media and all this stuff. What we're gonna do? I mean, of course, we have to criminalize all the public gay stuff and gay propaganda, but what we're also gonna do is maybe offer a place, government funded place where they can get healing from it, and
Yeah. Yeah.
people don't think that's a thing, but look, I mean, you can go to YouTube, testimony, you know, uh, gay to truth, or gay to
Yeah.
family, and there's people that now have families, and they used to live a degenerate homosexual lifestyle, and now they're they have kids and a family, and all the good things, and they clearly
Yeah. Praise
recognize that
God.
they were, yeah, glory to God, and they clearly recognize that they were totally lost, and they were also taught to identify themselves by these very shameful acts. And the thing is, reggae artists, like, do you know many reggae artists that are talking like you and me right now? Like, do you know
Yeah.
many? Do you know many?
I mean, I have friends that are more based within the community, but they're like you said, they're kind of
Few and far
they're in
between.
yeah, and they're not as outspoken about it as maybe you or I am, and just when you think about the country and how corrupt it is, like the Epstein class is still running the country, and that they're going to want to lower the age of consent, and they're going to want to legalize all these different things because they are homosexual PDFs. That's what they are. You know what I mean? That's people at the very top of America. They're homosexual PDFs, and I think a lot of people, from what I'm realizing in the reggae scene and just in general in society, there's a lot more gay dudes than we realize. Like a lot of these guys that even have families and girlfriends and stuff, they're bisexual. You know what I mean? And so
Get out of here with that. Even
yeah,
even identifying yourself with that, like, if someone were if there was a grown man that would say in front of my child, "I'm a gay man," that's gay propaganda. Like,
yeah,
you saying that out
you can't
loud
be.
will draw questions to a child. Like, what does that even mean? Well, son, that man has been taught, has taken the hook, line, and sinker. He probably got sexually abused when he was a child, and
Yeah,
he started acting according to that, to his trauma, and he started putting his pee pee in men's poo poos, and
dude, it's like you said. They I forgot what I was gonna say, but they just, dude, these kids are victims of their parents, and I don't know if the parents want to be self-righteous. I think they're trying to be self-righteous. They like the attention they get. Oh, my kid's gay, my kid's trans. I'm gonna be the number one big sale mom because I put my boy in a dress and painted his nails and told him he was a little girl now. And like we've talked about it, I think, but I don't like the phrases like sexuality implying that there's more than one. And these
Yeah,
the
yeah.
only
That's why I
you
don't
can
say
only
I'm a.
straight,
That's why, yeah, exactly. That's why I
you
don't
know.
even say straight people, because
Yeah.
that's implying that there's other types. And no, there's man and woman, and
Yeah.
sex is for marriage and for reproduction, to create the reproduction of the image of God. Has nothing
Yeah.
to do. Family has nothing to do with gay stuff.
Yeah.
That's perverted. That's love has nothing to do with gay stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that a lot of these people, like you said, like, and it's people my age, these lesbian couples that are my age, the lesbians, they Yeah, one love but not gay.
Is
I
that
think they got
backwards, forwards?
no, that's right. From my end, that looks
Cool.
right. But like I think these young girls got molested by a male in their life, or a negative male person in their life who took advantage of them when they were young girls, and now they feel some type of way about men. And it's the same thing with the young boys. They also get molested by men, by terrible human beings that are just awful people, and they hurt these young children. And now the boys think that, see, I can't, sometimes when I can't fathom because of how disgusting it is to me for a man to want to put his phallus into another man's anus, like I can't compute in my mind why in the world would anyone want to do that and have the possibility of an infection in their urethra or whatever. Why would you want to do that? And but then I think about it, I was never molested, so I don't know what kind of trauma
Right.
these
There is,
people
yeah,
have.
there
I
is,
think we
it's
should be
trauma based.
compassionate.
It's trauma
We should
based.
be
The reason I'm being
compassionate.
like luck is because it actually is, it is effing disgusting, right? And any man in their right mind will just know, that
Yeah,
you don't have to convince me that a
yeah,
person that is attracted, a man that's attracted to buttholes, it's a man's butthole, is not depraved. You can't convince me otherwise.
yeah. They try to say there's like a oh, there's a G spot like in your butthole, and like it's like it's like a da da da. They try to say like you have like a G spot in your anus, and I'm like, that's such gay propaganda. That's the most gay propaganda I think I've ever heard. It's so obvious.
Yeah,
That's for
yeah.
shitting. You know what I
And
mean? That's for taking
appealing
a
to the
shit.
woman, they've taught through the medias and things that the woman should have a gay friend and things, so the
Yeah,
men are appealing to the woman, and the woman is socially acceptable to the from the female, modern female, that
yeah.
oh, you should, oh, you're so close minded, if you're not,
Yeah, the
if you're not
woman
into
is
the
the
gay
leader of
stuff. So
morality. The woman decides what is moral and what's not, and then the man follows the woman, and the woman follows the gay friend. So it's like, why is the woman following her gay friend around, and the guy's following the woman around, trying to get, some
yeah,
punani?
the
It's like,
point is, like, whoever's listening to this, and you make reggae music, and you've kind of maybe, been deceived by all the gay propaganda, and you thought that you were so open-minded for accepting sodomy, and being like, you thinking that you're open-minded and so chill for being a feminist and
yeah,
pro child sacrifice and everything. Just know that reggae is not gay. So let's make reggae music that's not gay. And I have this little piece of propaganda right here. Reggae,
positive propaganda,
yeah, reggae is not gay, not gay
pure
propaganda.
propaganda.
Yeah,
Pure, not degenerate propaganda that's meant to undo the fabric of America. Undo the Christian fabric of America and turn it into a multicultural shithole. you know,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I'm cool with accepting the best things. I would love to accept the best things from everyone's culture, but when they start telling me that it's wrong to want to raise a family, or it's wrong to not want to have an abortion, that's where I can't give. I'm always going to think it's evil. I'm always going to think murdering your unborn baby is evil. There's no other way to look at it. I mean,
Hmm.
Planned Parenthood got caught selling aborted parts on, like, they got caught.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I
Yep.
don't, it's one of those things that I don't think these people are even
The
aware of, because
Margaret
they're told,
Sanger,
oh,
right?
it's
You
just
know about Margaret
yeah,
Sanger, the
it's just a
founder
clump
of.
of cells. It's a clump of cells. It's not alive really until it's outside of you. And now they're even talking about post-birth abortion. What is that? Just just
Yeah,
just
most of
killing
these
a,
abortion clinics are in black neighborhoods, and that was the goal in the
yeah.
beginning, also, right? With Margaret Sanger, she was a eugenicist. She wanted, she said a bunch of crazy stuff too. But yeah,
Where's
I
the
mean,
Rastas talking about that? Where's the Rastas talking about how they're trying to wipe us out first with the
dude,
liquor
don't even
stores
get,
and the,
yeah. And that's a whole other, like, other tier. Like, this, what we're talking about right now is really just for the typical average normie. It's not any high. It's not high tier talk at
yeah.
all.
I try not
Because
to
we
get
could go,
too
we could go into, something that's a
in
bit,
depth.
another level, but people are gonna,
Yeah,
they're not gonna be there because there's a whole other
yeah,
part of reggae music that is Rastafari, goes into orthodoxy, and I see it all the time too. Reggae artists, Rastafari, Jah, and all this stuff, and then they're pro sodomy and pro abortion and all
yeah.
this stuff.
Those are the white ones too. Like I've dealt with, and they change their voice. They try to bomba clot. I've talked to so many white Rastas, and their dreads are all, they don't wash their dreads, and they're just stinky hippies, but they're just like, dude, they don't know anything about Rastafari. They don't know anything about Ethiopia. They don't know anything about Haile Selassie, and they just wear the red, gold, and green, and
Right. And I'm
and they
glad
like
that you
doing
say like
mushroom.
Haile Selassie, because Rastafari is Haile Selassie. The religion
Exactly.
of
They don't even
Rastafari
know
is,
that.
yeah, it's schismatic. It's not. I never found out what Rastafari was. All I know is that I'm not Rastafari because I was told that 1,000 million times. Everybody loves to tell everybody else that they're not a Rastafari. It's crazy. Like
Yeah, like
that's what that's what I
you're not a real
saw. The
Rasta.
Rastafari movement, from
Yeah,
my point of view, was just people telling each other that they're
yeah.
not Rasta. You're not a
But
real
that's just like,
Rasta.
dude,
No, you're
that's
not
just
a.
like if you think about it, that's just like the hip hop. You're not a real gangster. I'm a real gangster.
Totally.
You're not a real.
It's the
You're not a
same
real
same.
shata. I'm a
Yeah.
real shata. You know
It's
what
the
I mean?
same
It's
same,
like
and it's schismatic. It's schismatic.
it's
It's like there's so
stupid.
many little denominations within it. It's like another, it's a schismatic from the original. And what
It's
did
so
Haile Selassie do? He went to Jamaica and he established an Orthodox church.
yeah,
He was a
yeah.
monarch also, and I know, whites, Rastas. They identify as Rasta. They have the accent and things, and I actually respect them. They're cool, and they stand for a monarchy, and they're not pro sodomy and all these things. And I
If
understand
they're cool,
actually.
then I'm okay.
They're,
Yeah,
they're, if you speak so much with Jamaicans and you're speaking with Rastas all the time, you're gonna start kind of talking that way, and I totally
yeah,
get that.
and
It's
I'm
just
okay
like,
with that. I don't care how
yeah,
anyone talks or how anyone looks.
and even when
You
I
know what I mean?
chant, I chant with open vowels because I think it sounds, I'll say propaganda instead of propaganda. I'll say family
Yeah,
instead of family.
yeah.
Family.
I think it matters a lot. It matters a lot
Yeah.
more. It matters a lot more your intentions and what you're saying than how you say it and how you look and when you come across. And I think it's a good way. Like I just cut my dreadlocks off, but the whole conversation about white people can't have dreadlocks. It's like, what are you talking about? White people have been having dreadlocks since the Vikings and before that.
Before
Since
even North India, they're white. They are
yeah,
white.
and
They're
so
white
you can
people, and they
find
had dreadlocks, and that's where the Jamaicans
yeah.
even got it from. So
Yeah,
historically,
anybody
it's
can,
white people that
and I
had
think it's
dreadlocks.
funny when they try to say you're trying to tell another human being what they can do with the hair that grows from their head. How ignorant and how much of a
The
egomaniac
thing
do you
is,
have to be?
I mean, I didn't do that. That did
It
it.
just did itself. It did itself,
Yeah.
and that's what everyone's hair would look like if they just stopped brushing it, and that's really it. And
Mm.
that's what mine were too. Mine were natty, and I'm gonna start all over, but you should never let anyone tell you what you can do with the hair on your head and your cultural appropriation and your culture vulture. It's like, dude,
Heck yeah, I'm
I
appropriating
yeah,
because it's gotten
yeah, but
so degenerate and evil.
yeah,
Shouldn't a culture that has been like the reggae culture is what I'm referring to. Shouldn't if a culture has become totally evil and degenerate, shouldn't we be appropriating it? Another thing is that thing of cultural appropriation, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, if you're an artist, if you're making your own music, to appropriate is to make your own. So you're going to be appropriating anything if you're making it your own. You're making your own music. So yeah, and
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
yeah,
Just like your own hair, and I feel the same way, man. It's the type of thing where they're not going to be the ones that are going to bring it back to the roots. Obviously, it seems like they're not gonna start talking about genocide and abortion and all the gay stuff. So who's gonna do it? And also, what are the benefits? All I've gotten were people talking, like, since I've started, and I love reggae music. I love making reggae music. I love singing. I love playing. I love listening to it. I love to listen to it, and all I've gotten is hatred, a pure spite and hatred from the black, not every black person, but black people inside the scene, secular gay white people inside the scene,
Mm-hmm.
just pure. And when I say white people, there's a lot of you-ish people too inside the scene. They're like, you're white, you can't do reggae. We can do reggae because we're not completely white. We have a little brown to us. We're a little more tan than you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're Middle Eastern, or we're
Mm-hmm.
whatever. We're African, and I've gotten so much hatred, and so have you. So, what would be the benefit of even being a so-called culture vulture? It's not really benefiting us in a financial way. We're trying to do this out of pure intentions. We're trying to change. We're trying to do something righteous that has nothing to do with money or clout or getting on big lineups and this and that. So, what is
That's
so
a
by you
good
know what I
point.
mean?
Yeah, actually, that's totally true. And I've seen, these interviews, reggae interviews with white people. Like, I'm not trying to be a culture. Like, the opposite of what I would ever want to do is be a culture vulture. Huh. They're just so scared. And actually,
Yeah,
I don't know what sound a vulture makes, but I want to make a sound. I should make a sound bite and just
yeah.
throw it. People, yeah, exactly, something like that.
Dude, it's
But
funny.
yeah, it's a vulture. Yeah, and it will. Yeah, I mean, I do think it is going to be a white man that is going to bring the whole thing forward, because of just how I've, how where I'm seeing the movement, where it's going, and things, and the most people that I see that are conscious, that are bringing conscious lyrics, and that are talking about these things like you and me right now, are white people. I mean, and yeah, I mean that that backlash that we've gotten for being white and making reggae music and everything, and it's like I can't help what I like. Like I only listen to church hymns from our Orthodox church and reggae music. That's all I listen to.
Yeah,
I don't care about listening to jazz or rock or any of that. I don't like any of it. I only listen to reggae music. I can't help that, and that's the only music that I want to make. Also, so that's the only music that I'm going to make. And
yeah.
yeah, I think this conversation is going to be very encouraging to some people. I think it's going to really piss some people off too. And I know that I've been pretty like serious about it, but I also want to reiterate that I also love everybody. I
Yep.
don't
Likewise.
affirm your fake identity. If you say
Yeah,
that
I
you're a
don't agree.
lesbian or gay or
Yeah,
whatever, I don't
yeah.
affirm that. Just like
Disagreement
we
is
don't
not
affirm,
disrespect.
like a person can't
Yeah,
transition. That's impossible feat.
yeah,
So but but a human, to be fully human, is actually to be Christ-like, to be like Christ, to be Christ. Christ was he was a man, fully human, fully God. So to be fully human is actually to be fully God. So
yes.
yeah,
And he
yeah,
was selfless. He was selfless. He let them kill him to prove a point. And he was so selfless, and that's what it means to be Christ-like. We get persecuted, and like I said, disagreement is not the same as disrespect. I can disagree with your lifestyle. That doesn't mean that I'm disrespecting you. You're actually disrespecting me by telling me that I can't hold the beliefs that I have. You know what I mean? And so it's not the same thing. And when you love somebody, you tell them the truth, even if they kill you for it. And that is, that's Christ right there. Christ said the truth. He's, you're of your father, the devil. The works of your father you'll do. And
yeah.
so
He is
like,
the truth as well, the
yeah,
way, the truth, and the life. So,
exactly,
man, I think that's a
exactly.
really good place for us to end this conversation. And actually, just as we
One
are
love.
finishing, yeah, someone's entering, but yeah, I probably won't be able to post this on YouTube unless I don't want to have my accounts anymore. So I'll probably take it off and post it on
I got a
local and on
sailor's.
X.
I got a
Can
sailor's mouth. I'm sorry for swearing so much. If I
That's
did,
okay. Yeah, I
comes
actually
out.
just started swearing, just really the past year.
Yeah,
that was never a habit of mine, and then I
yeah.
started doing it, and practicing it intentionally, and then yeah, but I shouldn't do that. Anyways, hey,
Yeah.
can you go ahead and do your, what do they call that? Your not grift. I mean, we could own that word too. You know,
Oh, like
um,
where to find all my stuff
yeah,
and everything.
where to find you, and all those things.
Okay, well, y'all can just
Plug,
search up.
plug is the
Yeah,
word.
I had to make a new Instagram, like Abba. My new Instagram is Righteous Fruits Reggae. Check out Spotify, Apple Righteous Fruits. You can find the Reggae project and everything. And yeah, man, check out the YouTube. Got some live videos on there, and just kind of I want to focus more on making music these days. I'm
Me
kind of
too,
burnt
man.
out on the local scenes and
Hmm.
everything. So stay tuned for some music and yeah, man, it's really not about me. It's about the message that Abba and myself are both trying to push forward. So it's not really about me. But if y'all do want to check out the music, I got some feel good songs. They're not everything's conscious. So yeah,
Man, thanks a lot for being here. Maybe we'll start a record label someday. White boy reggae record
yeah,
label. White,
but not
label.
gay,
Yeah, yeah.
but not faking gay.
Reggae is not gay. Yeah, the not gay podcast. All right, man. One love.
That'd be great, man. Yeah, one love. Good to see you again, brother.
Peace.
Peace.